What happened to Danny Koker after counting cars shocked even his most loyal fans? The man who built an empire of chrome and custom paint harbored secrets that threatened everything he'd worked for. Tonight we pull back the curtain on the real story behind the rise, fall, and unexpected resurrection of the Count. Danny Koker's love affair with cars wasn't born in front of television cameras, it was in his DNA. Growing up surrounded by musicians and mechanics, Danny couldn't remember a time when the rumble of engines wasn't the soundtrack to his life. While other kids were playing with toys, young Danny was already getting his hands greasy, learning the language of carburetors and crankshafts from the ground up. This wasn't just a hobby, it was an obsession that would eventually define his entire existence. The Las Vegas heat didn't stop Danny from spending countless hours in garages, perfecting his craft long before anyone knew his name. In the late 1990s, when he founded Count's Customs, it wasn't with dreams of fame or fortune. It was simply a man pursuing his passion with relentless dedication. Unlike the flashy Vegas establishments surrounding him, Count's Customs built its reputation the old-fashioned way through word of mouth and undeniable quality. Danny's distinctive approach blended classic restoration with bold customization, creating vehicles that weren't just restored but reborn with personality and flair. "I don't restore cars," Danny once told an interviewer. "I bring them back to life and give them souls." This philosophy separated him from others in the business, turning ordinary metal into rolling works of art. Each project wasn't about money. It was personal, a romance between man and machine that showed in every detail. Fame found Danny through the back door. His appearances as the motorcycle and car expert on Pawn Stars revealed something television producers couldn't ignore: charisma that jumped through the screen. Viewers weren't just interested in the vehicles, they were captivated by the long-haired bandana-wearing expert who spoke about vintage cars with religious reverence. History Channel executives recognized gold when they saw it, and in 2012 Counting Cars was born. The show was an immediate hit. Viewers tuned in week after week to watch Danny and his crew transform rust buckets into masterpieces. What made Counting Cars different from other restoration shows wasn't just the quality of work, it was Danny's infectious enthusiasm. Whether he was chasing down a classic Chevy in a parking lot or unveiling a finished project to an emotional owner, his passion radiated through the screen. "If I don't love a car, I won't touch it," became his mantra, and viewers believed it. But television success is a double-edged sword, and Danny soon discovered its sharper side. As Count's Customs transformed from local shop to global brand, the pressure mounted. Production schedules demanded faster turnarounds, cameras required dramatic moments, and suddenly the pure joy of restoration was competing with the business of entertainment. In 2015, cracks began to show in the foundation of Danny's empire. A lawsuit against former employee Joseph Frontier sent shockwaves through the Count's Customs family. Allegations that Frontier had embezzled company funds for personal luxuries like a Range Rover and first-class flights cast a shadow over the operation. Though Danny wasn't directly implicated, questions arose about oversight and management. How could this happen under the watchful eye of a man who prided himself on attention to detail? The legal battle was just the beginning. Behind the scenes, tension was building within the team. Long-time employees who had been part of the Count's Customs family before cameras arrived began to feel the strain. Scott Jones, a fan favorite whose chemistry with Danny had provided some of the show's most genuine moments, suddenly disappeared from the screen. No official explanation was offered, leaving fans to speculate about internal conflicts and growing pains. While Danny maintained his cool persona on camera, the pressure was mounting. Rumors of financial difficulties began to circulate. Some clients complained about extended delays on projects, while suppliers whispered about late payments. The business that had once prided itself on reputation now faced scrutiny from all angles. Online forums filled with speculation about whether television fame had compromised the quality that had built Count's Customs in the first place. Success changes everything around you. Danny reflected in a rare candid moment during a local radio interview. But the challenge is not letting it change who you are inside. This struggle became increasingly evident as Counting Cars continued. Fans began to question whether some moments were staged for dramatic effect, whether the tight timelines depicted were realistic, and whether the Count's customs they'd fallen in love with still existed beyond the cameras. Yet through it all, Danny's love for the craft never wavered. Even as the business faced challenges, his eyes still lit up at the sight of a rare vintage automobile. The cameras might have changed the pace, but they couldn't change the passion that had driven him since childhood. This resilience would prove crucial as Danny faced the crossroads that inevitably comes with fame. As pressure mounted from both the television production and the growing business, Danny made a crucial decision that would ultimately save both his passion and his sanity. He diversified. Drawing on his other lifelong love, music, Danny opened Count's Vamped Rock Bar and Grill in Las Vegas, creating a space where his two worlds could collide. The venue quickly became a hotspot for live music, featuring both local talent and nationally recognized acts. This wasn't just a business move, it was Danny reclaiming parts of himself that had been overshadowed by Counting Cars. Long before he was the car guy, Danny had been deeply immersed in the music scene. Count's Vamped provided an outlet away from the constant demands of television production and the automotive industry. Danny also reignited his music career, performing with his band Count 77. While never reaching the same level of recognition as his television persona, the band allowed Danny expression without expectation, passion without pressure. On stage with a guitar instead of a wrench, he found balance that had been missing since television cameras invaded his workshop. Meanwhile, Count's Customs underwent its own transformation. Learning from past mistakes, Danny implemented new systems focused on transparency and realistic timelines. The shop still accepted high-profile projects, but approached them with a renewed commitment to quality over quantity. This marked a return to the principles that had built the business in the first place. Craftsmanship over commercialism, passion over profit. I had to remember why I started doing this in the first place, Danny explained in a trade magazine interview. It wasn't about the cameras or the fame. It was about the cars, the history, the stories they tell, and the joy of bringing them back to life. This refocusing seemed to work. While rumors of financial struggles continued to circulate online, Count's Customs remained operational, delivering stunning restorations to clients who valued quality enough to wait for it. The shop's social media presence showed ongoing projects that maintained the high standards Danny had always demanded, even if they weren't being documented for television. By 2021, Counting Cars had begun to wind down, with fewer new episodes and more reruns filling the schedule. Some saw this as evidence of trouble, but those closer to Danny recognized it as a natural evolution. The show had accomplished what few reality programs ever do: longevity, and Danny had successfully leveraged that platform to build something more sustainable than television fame: a legacy. Today, Danny Koker's influence extends far beyond Counting Cars. He's become an iconic figure in the automotive restoration world, respected not just for his technical skills, but for his philosophy regarding classic vehicles. Young car enthusiasts cite him as inspiration, and his approach to restoration has influenced shops across the country. Count's Customs continues to operate, though with less public fanfare than during the height of the show's popularity. The business has returned to its roots, focused on quality craftsmanship rather than television timelines. Meanwhile, Count's Vamped remains a destination for music lovers in Las Vegas, and Count 77 continues to perform, allowing Danny to express his creativity through multiple channels. The legal troubles and team tensions that once threatened to derail Danny's empire have largely faded into the background. While lessons were learned from those challenging times, they no longer define the narrative of Count's Customs or its founder. Instead, Danny is remembered for his passion, his distinctive style, and his unwavering commitment to automotive excellence. Perhaps most importantly, Danny Koker found something rare in the world of reality television: sustainability beyond the spotlight. By diversifying his interests, staying true to his core passions, and refusing to let fame dictate his path, he created a blueprint for lasting success after the cameras stopped rolling. The story of Danny Koker isn't just about cars or television or even music. It's about authenticity in an industry that often rewards the opposite. It's about maintaining your identity when success tries to reshape it. And it's about remembering that true passion, whether for cars, music, or anything else, isn't measured by ratings or revenue, but by the joy it brings to your life. As Danny himself would say, life is too short to build something you don't love. In both his restoration work and his life's journey, he's remained true to that philosophy, creating a legacy that will outlast any television series. The next time you watch a rerun of Counting Cars, or spot a custom vehicle that bears the unmistakable touch of Count's Customs, remember that behind the bandana and the rock star persona is a man who simply refused to let fame change what matters most: the love of the craft and the courage to pursue it on your own terms. In a world obsessed with overnight celebrities and 15 minutes of fame, Danny Koker stands apart as someone who recognized that true success isn't measured by how brightly your star shines, but by how long it continues to burn. And for Danny, that flame, fueled by passion, persistence, and authenticity, shows no signs of going out. The question isn't what happened to Danny Koker after Counting Cars. The real question is what happens when a man refuses to let television define his story. The answer is playing out in a custom shop in Las Vegas, where the Count continues to reign, cameras or not.